The Rock kicked out of everything, every power move, every slam, every brutal strike that Brock Lesnar threw at him with those terrifying hands, and then, in one single violent, earth-shattering moment, Brock Lesnar caught The Rock mid-air, spun him around like he weighed absolutely nothing, and drove him into the canvas with an F5 that shook the entire Nassau Coliseum to its foundation. The referee's hand hit the mat. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, the most electrifying man in sports entertainment history had been dethroned by a 25-year-old kid from Webster, South Dakota who had been in WWE for less than a year. Can you even wrap your head around that? Because what happened at SummerSlam 2002 wasn't just a title change. It was the violent, undeniable birth of a new era, and the whole world felt it happen in real time. Before we go any deeper into this story, and trust me, this story gets so much deeper. If you are new here, you just landed on the right channel. This is Shock Zone. And this channel exists for one reason and one reason only, to bring you every single legendary WWE story told the way it truly deserves to be told. Dramatic, cinematic, complete. Every championship match, every shocking betrayal, every rivalry that kept you up at night. It all lives right here. If you have never subscribed, do it right now because I promise you, the stories we have lined up are going to absolutely blow your mind. If this story is already pulling you in, hit that like button. It genuinely helps more WWE fans find this channel. And share this with your wrestling friends right now. Send it to them. Tag them, because they need to hear this story too. Missed a match? Missed a whole rivalry? Don't even stress about it. We are here for you, always. Now, let's talk about the night that changed WWE history forever. To truly feel the weight of what happened at SummerSlam 2002, you have to understand the two men who walked into that building and what they each represented at that exact moment in time. The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, was at the absolute peak of his WWE existence. He was the WWE Undisputed Champion. He was the most charismatic, most entertaining, most over superstar on the entire roster. When The Rock walked into an arena, the temperature of the whole building changed. The crowd came alive in a way that only happened for a handful of performers in the history of this business. He had already main evented multiple WrestleManias. He had already held the WWE title multiple times. He was the gold standard of what a WWE superstar looked like, on the microphone, in the ring, in front of a camera. The Rock was not just a champion. He was the face of an entire era of professional wrestling, and everybody in that Nassau Coliseum knew it. And then there was Brock Lesnar. Now, if you were watching WWE in 2002, you remember exactly what it felt like to see Brock Lesnar for the first time. Because there was nothing like it. There had never been anything like it. Here was this absolutely freakish physical specimen. 6'3", 290 pounds of pure shredded muscle, moving around that ring with the speed and agility of a man half his size, combined with the raw destructive power of something that didn't seem fully human. Brock had come out of the University of Minnesota as a legitimate NCAA Division I heavyweight wrestling champion. He wasn't playing a character. He was just himself. And himself happened to be the most physically dominant creature WWE had ever put in front of a camera. And he had Paul Heyman by his side. The most brilliant, most manipulative, most cunning mind in the history of professional wrestling management. Together, Brock and Heyman, they were not just a team. They were a wrecking machine with a brain attached to it. The build-up to this match was electric. Brock had been tearing through the WWE roster like it was made of paper since the day he arrived. Everybody he faced, he destroyed. It wasn't competitive. It wasn't close. It was a man among boys. And every single person watching at home could feel that something different was happening with this kid. When Brock set his sights on The Rock and the Undisputed Championship, it didn't feel like a storyline. It felt like a collision course between the present and the future of WWE. And SummerSlam 2002 was the night that collision finally happened. The Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York was buzzing with the kind of anxious electricity that you only get when a crowd genuinely does not know what is about to happen. These fans had seen The Rock win big matches before. They had seen him overcome impossible odds. But there was something in the air that night. Something different. Something almost unsettling. Like everybody in that building could sense that the ground was about to shift beneath their feet, and there was nothing anyone could do to stop it. When that bell rang, Brock Lesnar did not waste a single second. He went straight for The Rock's ribs, which were already injured coming into this match. and he attacked them with the cold, calculated precision of a trained amateur wrestler who knew exactly where the weakness was and had no mercy whatsoever about exploiting it. He drove his shoulder into Rock's midsection, slammed him into the corners, grounded him with the kind of suffocating wrestling that The Rock had simply never faced at this level before. And the crowd felt it. You could hear the unease in their reactions, because The Rock was being manhandled, and that was not something anyone was used to seeing. The Rock refused to go quietly. That is the thing about great champions. They find a way to fight back even when everything is going wrong. Rock battled through the pain in his ribs and started firing back, landing his signature moves, building momentum, getting the crowd behind him. And for a brief, beautiful stretch of this match, it looked like The Rock was going to find a way to survive. He locked in the sharpshooter, a submission hold that had tapped out legends, and Brock was trapped in the middle of the ring with nowhere to go. The crowd exploded. Was this it? Was The Rock going to make this kid tap out on the biggest stage of the summer? But Paul Heyman had other plans. The most devious manager in WWE history threw himself onto the ring apron, screaming and distracting the referee at the absolute worst moment. The momentum broke. Brock powered out, and Heyman slithered back to ringside with that slimy grin on his face like he had just stolen something precious. Because he had. The interference from Heyman became a recurring theme throughout this match, and it infuriated the crowd every single time. But here's the thing that made this story so brilliant. Brock didn't actually need the help. The help just made it faster and meaner and more dominant. Because every time The Rock built any kind of momentum, Brock would absorb it and come back harder. The power differential was real. The physical dominance was undeniable. And as this match went on, it became increasingly clear that The Rock was fighting a battle unlike anything he had ever faced before. Then came the moment that made the whole crowd gasp. The action spilled to the outside, and The Rock, with that fire burning in his eyes that only comes from a man pushed past his limit, grabbed Paul Heyman, and he hit him with a rock bottom straight through the announcer's table. The crowd absolutely erupted because Heyman had been a thorn in everyone's side the entire match, and watching him go through that table felt like justice. Pure, satisfying, explosive justice. The Rock fed off that crowd energy and rolled back into the ring with everything he had left, and then he hit Brock Lesnar with a rock bottom. Clean, perfect, in the center of the ring, the move that had ended so many careers, so many title reigns, so many moments in WWE history. The referee counted. 1, 2. Brock Lesnar kicked out. The crowd could not believe it. The Rock could not believe it. The whole building went into a state of stunned silence for just a fraction of a second before the noise came back louder and more confused than ever. Because that just did not happen. Nobody kicked out of the rock bottom at that stage of the match. Nobody. Rock went for a second rock bottom, trying to finish what he started, but Brock countered it with pure animal instinct. He caught Rock. Rock countered it with pure animal instinct. He caught Rock, hoisted him up onto those massive shoulders, and delivered the F5 with such explosive, violent force that the ring shook, and the crowd's reaction was a mixture of shock and awe, and the first sparks of something new, the sound of a crowd watching history happen and knowing it in real time. The referee counted 3. And Brock Lesnar, 25 years old, less than 1 year into his WWE career, was the new WWE Undisputed Champion. The aftermath of SummerSlam 2002 cannot be overstated. What happened that night in Long Island was not just a title change. It was the moment WWE turned a page and started a completely new chapter. Brock Lesnar's victory over The Rock announced to the entire wrestling world that there was a new kind of superstar in WWE, one that combined legitimate athletic dominance with a terrifying physical presence and a manager who could outthink anyone in the building. This was the beginning of what would become one of the most decorated careers in WWE history. For The Rock, this loss marked the beginning of his transition away from WWE as he continued to build his Hollywood career into something the world had never seen from a professional wrestler before. He left WWE not as a man who had been broken, but as a legend who had helped create the next great monster of professional wrestling, by being the opponent worthy enough to make Brock's coronation mean something. For the fans, this night felt like the ending of one beautiful story and the violent, exciting beginning of another. The next big thing had arrived, and WWE would never be the same again. That is not hyperbole. That is just what happened. And 20 plus years later, when you watch that F5, when you see that 3 count, when you hear that crowd react, you feel it all over again. Because some moments in wrestling are bigger than the match. Some moments are bigger than the title. Some moments are the whole story, and SummerSlam 2002 was absolutely one of those moments. From the bottom of my heart, thank you for watching this story all the way to the end. That means everything to this channel and to everyone who puts their passion into telling these stories the right way. If you are not yet subscribed to Shock Zone, what are you even doing? Subscribe right now. I am telling you with complete sincerity, you will regret missing what is coming next on this channel. The stories we have lined up are going to hit you like an F5. If this video moved you, if it gave you chills, if it took you back, hit that like button right now. It takes 2 seconds and it helps this channel reach every WWE fan who deserves to hear these stories. Share this video with your wrestling friends. Tag them. Send it to them tonight, because this is the kind of story that needs to be heard out loud with the people who love WWE the way you do. Every legendary match, every iconic rivalry, every championship moment, every shocking betrayal in WWE history. It all lives here on Shock Zone. Miss something? Never worry. We are always here for you. Always. And next time, we are going into the story of one of the most shocking and heartbreaking betrayals in WWE history. A moment so personal, so brutal, and so unexpected that the entire locker room went silent when it happened. You absolutely cannot miss that one. This is Shock Zone, where every WWE story hits like a championship moment. We will see you in the next one.